And with the over-ending, it seems as good a time as any to thank you for your patience. We finally have audio here at Marchant Park number 10 for the Under-19 Women's Competition as part of the Mazda Brisbane Premier League. You're watching the top of the table clash between the Coastal Marlins, who had 2 wins yesterday with bonus points, and the Bayside Pirates, who had a win and a loss, but their win was with a bonus point. Been a very entertaining morning's cricket so far, and we thank you for being patient with us as we sorted out the audio problems. After 14 overs, the Coastal Marlins, who won the toss, had elected to bat. A 3 for 91. As Tara Wheeler continues her attack from the northern end. She has 2 for 12. And the star with the bat so far has been the Marlins captain, Riley Wotherspoon. Beautiful sweep shot. And that's around the corner from Rebecca Keiters. She moves to 9 as the total edges towards 100. The Marlins, excellent batting yesterday in both their games. We saw them on this field with Lara Hamilton, the start from the Sunshine Coast, scoring a good, well-paced 36. As the marquee in the Woodchide sitting starts creaking and moaning. Apologies for that. Pirates attempted to keep the runs down as the score edges towards 100. As the field has been brought out to dig backwards square leg to protect the sweep. Well flighted from Wheeler, it's hit down to long on. In fact, it was a bit wider than that. It's a mid-wicket, so just the single, which brings the left-handed Lucy Hamilton on strike. There are 3 L. Hamiltons in this competition. Lucy, who you can see batting in the number 1 shirt for the Marlins now. Lily Hamilton, who's number 9 for, I think it's the Southern Rockets. And then Lara Hamilton, who's been bowling for the Bayside Pirates today in the number 14 shirt. Lofted just over the outstretched hands of Berry, down at long on. And 4 runs to Hamilton. The Coastal Marlins, Wotherspoon falling in the 40s, dismissed by Abby Curtis, and I am very much regretting that we didn't have the audio at the time of that wicket, because Abby Curtis shouted out in delight, "I got one!" as soon as she dismissed Wotherspoon. It was an LBW decision. I don't know if she meant I got one in terms of a wicket or an LBW, but I was delighted for Curtis in that moment. Lucy Hamilton facing the Pirates captain Tara Wheeler. Down the pitch again, it's a lofted drive, and this will go to long off for just a single. Total moves to 99. Hamilton and Keiters building a good partnership. Short delivery completely missed. And they will run a bye. I think Paul Michaela Montgomery thought she was about to cop a bat in the scone. So the 100 comes up with a bye. Maybe not the most glamorous way of doing it. In fact, the 100 came up earlier in the over, I apologise. No, it was right first. And so the Marlins batting, there's been no problems with it so far. They'll just make a bit of space. There's a lot of people here who make the Brisbane Premier League happen. And hopefully during the week we'll introduce you to people like Nick Fitzpatrick and Joel Hamilton. But here to share his thoughts on the match, Jonathan Delwood. Jonathan, how are you doing? Just speak. We're all being picked up by the...
Yes, lovely to be here, Daniel. Absolutely perfect day for it again, day 2. Got another good contest here by the looks of things.
Top of the table clash. 3 wins from 4 for the 2 teams combined. And Tara Wheeler ringing the changes from cover. Sophie Verniak. And just swipes it through mid-wicket.
Nice easy single there. Good rotation.
They have rotated the strike well, as has Tara Wheeler with her bowlers, as the marquee animal sitting goes for a walk.
It's a little bit more blowing today, that's for sure.
Yes, we need some pegs. They will be forthcoming. So Verniak increased in pace since last season. Hits the pad, key wicket. Verniak pitched the ball up, beat the drive of Lucy Hamilton, and that is a key wicket for Sophie Verniak.
Tried to play across the line there, but you know, it is a T20, so the shot was on. Got the wicket well deserved.
You're playing for the Winmandy Redlands Club, and I saw Verniak play last year, and she really was just medium pace, and she's definitely above that now by the standards of first grade women's cricket.
Wonderful control too. Wonderful control, great rhythm at the crease, and deserved that wicket.
So the new batter will be Zofie Valencic, a left-hander, so they maintain the left-hand, right-hand combination.
Always a tricky one for the fielders, that one, to rotate in the field.
I was not much of a batsman, but because I was left-handed, I at least had the advantage of annoying the fielding side.
Well, it's always key, isn't it? Especially when you're able to rotate and strike.
Yeah, I had a little bit of a problem with that, but at least being left-handed. So in the 16th over, 4 for 103. Marlins not wanting for runs, but there is a fair bit of talent in the Pirates batting lineup, not least the captain Tara Wheeler, currently the leading scorer in the tournament, although she might have been temporarily overtaken by Wotherspoon, but the only player to score 2 half-centuries yesterday, 62 and 61. Pitched up to Valencic, she flicks it out to the leg side boundary where it will be fairly easily fielded by Holly Barr.
So what are we looking at a good total here, Daniel?
Yesterday we saw totals, the team batting first would score 140, but then 100 would have been enough. But this is one of those games, nice pitched up ball from Verniak, one of those games where both sides are capable of getting 140, 150. The scores are lower on this field because it's bigger. You needed 170, 180 on the fields behind us.
Well, we must discuss who put the cones out.
They're sacked. Nice use of the feet to get it out.
Two there.
Eloise Shade cutting that one off at deep mid-wicket.
Well, top of the table clash, 140 would be game on, really.
There's plenty of batting talent in the Pirates lineup. Lofted, heading down straight, it's going to fall in the gap outside of the inner ring and inside of the outer ring. They have run 2 on this occasion. The fielding was good, there was just a little bit too much ground to make up.
Excellent bit of running there.
So end of the over, the total moves to 4 for 107, Kiter's 12, Valencic 3. And Verniak finishes her 4 overs with 1 for 18, which, given that we're talking about 140 as a necessary score, 1 for 18 is excellent, really.
Excellent, wonderful control, as mentioned before. She's coming off for a rest.
They do like to... 13-player squads generally here, and I think you can play 12 in one match.
I think so, yes. And I did notice yesterday a lot of rotation. It is very warm though. So, and with back-to-back games and sometimes no rest, it's important to keep the rotation and the fluids up.
Speaking of fluids, I'm very grateful to Pirates co-owner Peter Chisholm for bringing me a cup of tea. The more famous owner of the Pirates is Darren Lehman, but was he the one who brought me a cup of tea? He was not. No, Peter Chisholm, I now declare the true owner of the Bayside Pirates. 4 overs remaining. I think they've brought back... No, it's not Bonnie Berry. Breakout star with 5 for 8 in the first game on this field yesterday, bowled with great pace. I apologise, Ms. Berry. Well above medium pace. It's squeezed out to point, and they're running a second. That is much better running. A very accurate throw might have had the batter in trouble, but too easily completed to Rebecca Keiters.
Now we're looking for a bit of manic batting and running between the wickets. Try and get that score up to about 140, 150 if possible.
Beautiful. Berry did get plenty of outswing yesterday. We've had to change our camera angle today to make sure that the camera doesn't run out of battery because we lost an entire Dingoes innings yesterday. But being able to look straight on yesterday, which we'll have again tomorrow out at Redlands, Bonnie Berry, a classic quick right arm outswing bowler. Excellent fielding. I think they ended up bouncing over the stumps, found the one hard piece of ground here at Marchant Park number 10.
Yeah, it resembles very similar to a goat track, actually.
It's not completely flat. They'll get an absolute carpet out at Peter Bird's Oval tonight. Even the second oval, Fred Kratzman, beautifully kept.
I haven't been out there yet, but that's certainly on the list.
Valencic attempting to turn that round the corner. I suspect the appeal was ambitious if Valencic was looking to turn it to leg. I was just obscured. Was that single leg by?
Yes.
Thank you.
Very ambitious shout, I think.
Even from deep gully.
Even from backward square leg, as the batter faces now.
That's an interesting shot, but it's very effective. It's gone for 4, reached out way to the offside, and just flicked it over the head of gully, and there was no protection out there. In fact, the field has come in. I suspect we're in the power surge.
Yeah. It's almost like a little sliced forehand cross court there. Slicing over the top of gully, but very important runs late in this innings.
Yes, always take your batting tips from Naomi Osaka, I say.
When playing.
That's a lovely cover drive from Keiters. There's a dive at deep cover, and it's brilliantly fielded. Saved 2 runs for her team on that occasion. Looks like Holly Barr out there on the cover boundary.
Very good over there, 10 off. 10 or 11 off.
We had a beautiful statistical quirk earlier in the innings where the 6th over went for 6 runs, the 7th over went for 7 runs, and you get the pattern. It lasted 5 overs up to the 10th over going for 10 runs.
Really? It's a beautiful thing about our game, isn't it?
So many numbers to play with. Well, coaches do like their batters to accelerate through the innings.
They do, and that is one way to do it. Albeit at a crawl.
Our first half of the innings, I reckon.
Sure.
Yeah, that's acceptable. So we're going to have pace from the southern end as well.
So, just at a really quick analysis of the field here,
Please.
we've got a deep square leg, deep mid-wicket, no one in the inner ring on the leg side at all. We've got a mid-on, a deep mid-off, a deep cover.
Have they got more than 5 outside the circle?
It feels that way.
Umpires are normally onto that.
Actually, now she's now put the deep mid on back. So we've got 1, 2, 3, got a short fine leg.
I'm guessing the third... left hand.
Left-hander, yeah. Now we've filled that gap in the mid-wicket region. So we've got coverage. That's certainly a word I'd use.
So Holly Barr from the southern end. Lofted, but because the field is a long way back, it's an easy single. They're pushing the second.
Excellent running.
Good work from Holly Barr, but with Hannah Schultz being pushed so deep at long on, that was well called for 2.
Wonderful little 9-iron chip wedge there. Excellent running. You always must run that first one hard, and she turned really well.
Now I know you're a coach now because you just said run the first one hard.
That's how we get in front in life.
Full toss looked like it was down the leg side. We'll wait for an umpire's signal. May have flicked something on the way through. They've only run one. A bye, in fact. So a rare blemish from Montgomery, who's been generally impressive behind the stumps in his innings.
Tell you, Daniel, I've been very impressed with the over rates through the course of yesterday and today already. We're 17, 18 overs in with
63 minutes played, yes.
Fantastic. I wish the international cricketers could watch this too. Certainly in the test match format.
Lofted, that'll be 6.
Whoa.
Wasn't quite off the middle, but the bat speed was fantastic. And there was plenty of power on it as Rebecca Keiters advances her score to, I believe, 27. I believe we're up to about 4 for... Okay, it's gone for 4 to 1. 4 for 127. Lofted again. Not as big. 1 bounce 4. Oh, and the fielders collide. Long off and long on collide. Hannah Schultz has got up okay. And so is the other fielder. It's all smiles between Eloise Shade and Hannah Schultz. But Rebecca Keiters is on the attack.
Well, suddenly now we're having to readjust our score here because we're sitting at 4 for 133, I believe. So that 140 of about 7 or 8 minutes ago that we discussed is now looking more like potentially either side of 150, I think.
Well, just bounce. In fact, the projected score at this run rate is precisely 150. 4 for 131 as it stands. The run rate has shot up to 7.5 and over. Change of pace. Clever. Holly Barr needed to respond cleverly, and that was well executed.
More analysis of the scores here. I think we potentially had something like 20 runs of the last 9 balls or so.
It's certainly accelerated.
Feels that way anyway.
Swatted. Will beat the inner ring.
And
No, it is cut off on the boundary by Shade. But again, the running between wickets has been a feature of this partnership.
what is the partnership now then?
I'm about to check. It's the table that we're at does resemble an Officeworks throwout table. But
Must be near about 30 runs or so.
yes, I'm just getting an update. Short delivery, top edge, that'll be 4. On the attack, played the hook with confidence, and Rebecca Keiters is doing a superb job for the Coastal Marlins.
We must be sitting at nearly 25 runs off the last 2 overs.
Yes, the over just finished has gone for 18. The previous over, sorry, that was over number 18. That went for 20 runs. The previous over went for 10. So you're right, 30 off 2.
Could this be the part of the game where it all changes?
I'm interested in Holly Barr's bowling there. I felt that there were probably just a few too many half volleys there. It's you've got to be the land your Yorker or make it back of a length. She's clearly got different lengths in her. The bouncer was excellent.
It was, and it was a bit unfortunate that it went over the keeper's head.
But that's probably the only unfortunate fall. Before that, just on the half volley, it gave Keiters plenty to get under. How did you see it?
Yeah, I mean, the 2 that went for 4 and 6 were probably, she cleared her front leg.
appeal as it's just flicked out here towards the camera and it'll be easily fielded by Shade. So Valencic gets off strike straight away. She knows what's happening at the other end of the pitch and says, I want to see more of it.
Great communication between the two. Seem to have some sort of strategy here for the last few overs. And it's working, that's for sure.
So the partnership up to 36 in rapid time. Attempted to turn around the corner. I'm guessing she got a little bat on that. If not, then it's a leg by off the thigh pad. It's the latter.
So if I can sneak in a little field analysis for us.
Go for it.
We've got deep mid on, mid-wicket a square leg, a deep mid-wicket. Nobody backward square leg, isn't it?
Left-hander on strike. I think you're caught out there in the way that I normally do.
Yeah.
And Valencic.
So let's try that again.
Single to Valencic. Continue.
Right-hander, we've got a backward square leg, a mid-wicket, deep mid-wicket, a deep mid on. And this is where the eyes fail me. I see
Deep cover, I think. Yeah.
Deep cover, deep mid off. So no one behind square on the leg.
And if you've got no one behind square on leg, which is fine if you can control the bowling outside the off stump, but Berry going for a variation that on that occasion didn't work. Final over for Berry, none for 17 off 3.5.
We've got a backward point as well and a short third man, so we're wanting to bowl full, I guess.
Which Berry can do. Just back of a length, perfect length. And good enough keeping from Montgomery to make sure that sundries aren't brought into play.
That is certainly the length you want to be looking for in these last
1.5 overs.
1.5 overs or so.
So 4 for 1, 4-1, 8 balls remain. Found the length again. Died on its way through to the keeper. That's not Berry's fault. There are some dead patches on this pitch as we found yesterday.
Several.
And, we haven't yet got an update on Dahlia Glennie, who unfortunately copped she was keeping at this end. Copped one that reared up into her face, standing back. It just came from nowhere.
I did see that. That was extremely unfortunate.
Moon ball hit behind square. Not particularly well placed, and Shade will keep it to a single. So, got bat on it, retains the strike. So, Kaiser's still on track for a half century if she gets her skates on this over. 4 for 1, 4-2, 1 over remaining. Berry finishes with none for 18 off her 4 overs. She's done a very good job for her side.
So, do we think 150 is a good pass score? We were talking 10-15 minutes ago of sort of 140.
Oh.
150 would be...
I think it's
fair.
slightly ahead of average. A score of 150 would put the Marlins as slight favourites.
Done very well in this last part of the innings.
So will be Holly Barr to finish out. We saw a cut. In fact, it's not. I apologise. That is Hannah Schultz. From the Winner-Manly Redlands, I was about to say club, it's kind of a joint venture. It's the George Illawarra of the Catherine Raymond Shield.
I have been out to that ground. It's amazing.
Yeah. Now, that used to be a goat track 30 years ago, and then they put in an enormous amount of work. And it's a fine ground now. Brisbane first-grade grounds generally are of a high standard.
I'm amazed at them, to be honest. I mean, I'm from Melbourne, but these grounds and facilities and resources for all ages are incredible.
So Schultz. Shortish delivery, but not a bad length for the final over, and it's all Kites can do is play that to point.
So we've got 5 balls to go here. We've got a third man, a point, deep cover. Oh, I've done it again, left-hander. We've got a square leg, a deep mid-wicket, a sort of a straightish mid-wicket, which I quite enjoy actually. I like seeing that one, the one that's in between mid-on and a normal mid-wicket, and a deep mid-on.
It was outside off. Well done. Found that wide gap. Is the wide Yorker something you teach these days in 2020 cricket?
I don't mind it. but it's it's one of those ones where you need to practice a lot of it.
Yes.
I prefer the variations of pace, to be honest, in these depth overs.
Sure. Foolish delivery, little edge through to the keeper, I thought. Well, that might be a bye. We'll see. Possibility of an overthrow. They're onto it. Excellent running. It is called byes. So my hearing's failing me, but we're up towards a 50 partnership. It may have already... No, it hasn't quite come. 103 was the fall of the last wicket. Superb running. Schultz bowling cleverly. Round the wicket. Not timed. It's come down to long on. And dropped. Look, I'll be honest, I thought Berry was a little slow getting in there.
I thought so too. And the underarm throw in from deep mid on as well. But excellent over so far with two balls remaining.
It is.
Excellent over. They've really pegged it back here.
Just a squeeze out to point. Only a single there. Thank you. I think it's Jose Pays saying go Beck and nice running Zoe and Beck.
So what have we had? We've had 4 off the last over so far.
There's been a couple of byes which are blind. I think it's only 4 against the bowler. Let me just check. We've
6
gone.
off the over.
So it's been 1 dot, 2 byes, 2 runs and 1 run.
6 off the over. Excellent considering the last 2 or 3 overs.
Schultz has stood up. Lofted, that'll be 6. There's enough to go over the boundary. There's a big painted stripe around the outside of the field. That landed in between the boundary cones. So an excellent way to finish for Rebecca Kaisers. And she will finish with 45 off 30 balls. Magnificent way to finish. Valencic was excellent support with 9 off 10, but probably squeezed a few extra runs out with her running between wickets as well. That 6 also brought up the 50 partnership. I'll get a ball count for you later, which of course you can get for yourself on the Brisbane Premier League app or by going to brisbanepremierleague.com. But 4 for 154, as Jonathan and I discussed, that's probably better than par. A few final thoughts from Jonathan, and I'll go through the card.
I thought if we look at the last 4 or 5 overs there, I think you'll find that we sat around 4 for 107 in about the 16th over, I think it was. So only got to do a little short bit of mathematics there to find out that the last 3 or 4 overs were excellent. And I think it'll be interesting to see the second innings in terms of those last 5 overs, which are always critical, of course, in a T20, but certainly 50 off the last 5 or thereabouts definitely helps when you're setting the total, that's for sure.
So the Marlins showing why they went 2 from 2 yesterday, and they stormed into early favouritism. 4 for 154. Their top scorer is Rebecca Kaisers, 45 off 30 balls with 4 4s and 2 6s. At the top of the order, Riley Wotherspoon, 45 off 43 with 6 boundaries. For the bowlers, Bonnie Berry bowled her 4 overs extremely economically, none for 18. Tara Wheeler got most of the wickets, 2 for 22 off her 3. And then also wickets to Sophie Maniac, 1 for 18 off her 4, very good. And Abby Kerness, 1 for 22 off her 4, her wicket being the key wicket of Riley Wotherspoon. So we're going to take a break for about 10-15 minutes, and then we'll be back to see how the Bayside Pirates go in their run chase of 155 to beat the top of the table side. You're watching the Mazda Brisbane Premier League Under-19 Women's Competition live from Marchant Park in Aspley. That'll keep it, so walk away.
Well done, mate. You'll be rusty.
Very happy. Very happy. Probably has the gloves on. Yeah. To your right. Keep going. Yep.
Yeah, I know.
No, we're not ready yet. Then they've got hit the ball over the outside. So we took that off. We said to the two teammates, spoke to the two coaches, two captains, and they both said, no, we're happy tonight. I think perhaps for that. Not mine. I didn't make that decision, but he made that decision. There's Timo going. He did see basically all I had was a guy coming out.
Welcome back to Marchant Park number 10. The Marlins have put an excellent score on the board of 4 for 150, 54 I think it was, sorry, just misread my own writing. It's going to be a big, big run chase for the Bayside Pirates. But they're up for it. Their captain and trailblazer Tara Wheeler on strike. Coming off a pair of 60s yesterday as Lucy Hamilton begins. Just on the pads, but Wheeler not able to take advantage. Good enough start for Hamilton. Probably the fastest bowler in this competition when she gets going. 15 years old. Player of the final in the Catherine Raymond Shield 50 over competition back in March. And I'm resisting the temptation to build her up. Good length. It's turned by Wheeler. She'll get a single. Nothing wrong with the delivery. If there's one thing I've noticed about the field placings in this competition is that they often don't put someone close to cut off the single. The people inside the circle tend to be right back on the 30-yard circle. So Eloise Shea, right-hander, on strike to Lucy Hamilton.
She's doing it, mate.
As to edge to gully, misfielded. Could be made to pay for this. It's heading towards the boundary. It's been kept in, but flicked past the fielder. They'll get two. They'll settle for two to Shade. And you may have seen two bodies walking past the camera just before. That's the Coastal Marlins coaching staff, Tony Dudgeon and Grant Lutz. I know Tony's involved with the Sandgate Redcliffe Club. I think Grant might be as well. Possibly at Sunshine Coast. Lucy Hamilton to continue. Beautiful. Beats the outside edge. She's kept it back of length all over. And she's certainly in no danger of being driven. Quality on show here in the Mazda Brisbane Premier League under-19 women's competition. That one kept low. And Shade did well to dig it out. Marlins captain Riley Wotherspoon has the gloves. Experienced first grader. At Wests now, I think she began at UQ, as in the University of Queensland. Cover driven unconvincingly, and they decided against the single. Well cut off by Charlotte Briggs in the cover, who may retain the ball to open the bowling from the other end. She's certainly one option available to Riley Wotherspoon. Into the first over, just the 3 runs from it. Just so you know who's gabbling at you, my name's Daniel Viles. Just finished a season of commentating in the Queensland Women's Australian Rules competition, which was an absolute thrill. And I'm no Quentin Hull or Alistair Nickerson, but I have worked for the ABC, so if you want to tell people that your daughter, friend, niece, whoever played in a game commentated by an ABC commentator, technically you're correct. But enough about me. This is the Brisbane Premier League. A very high-class under-19 women's competition. There will be Charlotte Briggs. Right arm, let's say medium fast, from the Sunshine Coast Club, part of the Premiership side last March. Floated, lofted by Wheeler. We're in the power play, and that's 4 runs. Beautifully picked up. It was over-pitched, Charlotte Briggs. Not a cardinal sin by any stretch, but it was something that Wheeler was able to get under. Tara began the Catherine Raymond Shield this year with 2 scores in the 70s. Followed it up with 2 scores of 18, and then yesterday she scored 62 and 61. Stepped back, couldn't beat Gully. Was very comfortable in the shot, but a better length from Briggs. As said before, we've had to change the camera angle today. Apologies we're not able to look down the wicket, but we want to make sure the camera doesn't run out of battery because we lost most of the Dingoes innings yesterday, which was a shame. This is the Coastal Marlins in light blue against the Bayside Pirates in dark blue. Wheeler meets it on the full. She beats the fielder at cover, gets the single to mid-off. So 4 for 154 was the Marlins score before, a 50 partnership between Rebecca Kiters and Zoe Valencic. Some excellent running between the wickets. Shade waited on it and guided it down to third. Good arm, although it did land at the keeper's feet. But some definite strong fielding. As the Marlins look for their 3rd win in this tournament with a perfect start. Pirates none for 9. Respectfully played by Wheeler. Now, for those of you watching this game, welcome. And I am watching the live chat, so if there's anything you would like to say as part of the conversation, if I need to have a pronunciation corrected, or if I've mixed up the batters, or if the camera gets blown and suddenly you're looking somewhere other than the pitch, write it down, let me know, be part of it. Lofted by Wheeler, 1 bounce to a fielder on the ring at deep mid-wicket, who throws in well. So a slightly risky shot from Tara Wheeler, but well survived. And the score reaches double figures at the end of the 2nd over. So steady as she goes from the Pirates. They'll need to get to 7.5 and over eventually, but 5 and over to begin will do, particularly against bowlers with the experience and class of Hamilton and Briggs. You will hear me mention the Catherine Raymond Shield and Jodie Field Shield from time to time. They are the 1st and 2nd grade competitions in Queensland Premier Cricket for women. Hamilton to continue. Turn to leg. Some excellent athletic fielding from Nicola Bradford at mid-wicket. Plenty of parents and friends supporting the players here at Marchant Park. There's 10 fields going through the various competitions. Only 2 at the moment for the women. She's holding her length well, Lucy Hamilton, just straight onto legs and they'll run a leg by. In fact, there was some bat on that. Apologies to Eloise Shade for shortchanging her a run. Whoops. So I'm sitting under a marquee which nearly went to cover. Hamilton with a fuller delivery. That was deliberate, made sure that Wheeler couldn't charge it. And for someone who's only 15, bowling to a 22-year-old, I'll explain soon how a 22-year-old can play in an under-19 comp. But Hamilton bowling cleverly, left arm quick. shorter, played to point, but not able to pierce the field. Hamilton bowling to her field well. When you've got that much pace and bounce, having fielders behind the wicket in key positions can make sure that the batters don't really have many options available to them. And thank you to Fakuna Crump saying that the camera's moved. I'll just make sure that... Yes, you're right, hang on. That's excellent, Kiana. Thank you so much for letting us know. It's a bit hard to... I don't multitask well. Shorter ball from Hamilton. It's played into cover. Will be very calmly fielded by Charlotte Briggs. Another good over. On a very windy day here in Aspley, in the far north of Brisbane. Go much further than this and you're into the Moreton Bay Regional Council area. But of course the word north is relative when you're dealing with the coastal Marlins, who have a very strong presence from Sandgate Redcliffe, which is further to the north than this, but to the northeast, and also the Sunshine Coast. Briggs to Shabe. Shorter and slower. Shabe had to check her shot, and then the throw in lands at Wotherspoon's feet. And it is Wotherspoon. Wather rhymes with bother. And yes, when you see R. Wotherspoon on the sheet, I'm sure she's been called Reese once or twice in her life, but it's Riley, and I suspect you'll be hearing more about her. Short delivery slashed over gully, but it will go down to the deep third fielder for just a single. That's a better throw. Right into Riley Wotherspoon's gloves over the stumps. So Briggs bowling well, varying her pace and length. A little wide on that occasion, not a wide. And it did die on Tara Wheeler there. Slower delivery, swatted by Wheeler. Hits the fielder at wide mid-on. So in this competition there'll be a 4-over power play. And then the batting team can choose to take a 2-over power surge in the second half of the innings after 10 overs. It affects the number of fielders that can be put deep.
All right, mate, bye.
Flicked off the legs, it'll just be the one that's fielded fairly comfortably by Janelle Pays, or possibly Nellie Pays. I hear the other players calling her Nellie. Already in the first grade side at Sandgate Redcliffe, even as a 14-year-old. But excellent in the field. Fielded well in the T20 final last December. Wheeler off the hip. Two fielders in close. Good work in the field. Got the throwback in swiftly. That was Nicola Bradford. Wotherspoon took it on the bounce. I think the camera may have just blown forward for a second there. I'll check the angle. But you don't need to stay silent if you see something go wrong. This is your tournament. Belongs mainly to the women on the field. Secondly, you, the friends and family. If I can make it slightly more entertaining, I'll do my best. But the main entertainment is coming from on the field. The whirligig signal from the umpire means that the first power play is over, so if she so chooses, Wotherspoon can now move 3 extra players outside the fielding circle, which is 30 yards from the bat. Yes, cricket's such a progressive sport, we still measure things in yards. Hamilton. Beautiful shot. Just the one for Wheeler, but that's the textbook cover drive. And fielded comfortably by Pays. If it's not Pays, if it's Pais, or if I've got the pronunciation wrong, I'm happy to be taught. Hamilton bowling with fire. It's a chip shot to Pays, just a misfield. Her arm is quite strong, as she now demonstrates. And it might have been interesting had she been able. As the camera gets blown by the wind again, apologies. Just make sure it's still showing the play. But Hamilton bowling with control and pace. Lofted, caught and bowled. Wheeler is gone. Hamilton taking an excellent reflex catch in her follow through. It landed pretty much in the bread basket, but so often those fall out if you can't get the hands into position. And so Lucy Hamilton not only has the first wicket, but it's the key wicket of the Pirates captain, Tara Wheeler. The new batter will be Amreen Carlin. Didn't bowl today. She's quite a crafty leg spinner. But her role today, she may have a bowling role in the second match. But for now, she's got the key role at number 3 in the order. Wheeler will be disappointed because she was building innings nicely. She's in good form. But on this occasion, it's Hamilton who prevails. In the battle of the big guns. Now, as to how a 22-year-old can play in an under-19 competition, each side was allowed to pick 4 players as trailblazers. The idea is they would be more experienced players, up to the age of 23 and not contracted to the Heat or the Bulls. And they would act as a kind of core of each club, of each team, teach the younger players, provide a bit of experience and develop some of these women as young as 13 playing in this comp. So Carlin to face Hamilton. She's bowling with pace, Hamilton. It's funny how a wicket can add 5 kilometres an hour to your pace. The match taking place simultaneously is the Wave Riders and Magic. That's on the field behind us, field number 5. Do not attempt to understand any logic behind how these fields are numbered at Marchant Park. It is the 8th wonder of the world. Hamilton maintaining that length. Shade backing up a long way, but in no real danger in the end. So the Wave Riders and Magic, I apologise for not being able to give you a score update, but you can get one yourself by going to BrisbanePremierLeague.com or downloading the BPL app from the usual places. Google Play, Apple iStore, all of that sort of stuff. Yorker from Hamilton. Some appeals from square of the wicket. But the lack of an appeal from the bowler tells you all you need to know. End of the over. And the Marlins definitely on top. As Lucy Hamilton has put them into definitely a winning position. Not over by any stretch. Still 15 overs to play. But Shabe and Carlin have work to do. Shabe from the Western Suburbs Club, so she'll have a mate of sorts behind her in Riley Wotherspoon. Carlin moved to Winnemanley Redlands this year. Now you will hear some banging as my new best friend Nick is putting some pegs into the ground so that this marquee does not end up at cover. Don't get me wrong, will be a very effective cover fielder. Now to stop the commentator from being burnt to a crisp, as I repeatedly say, the action is on the field. Floated ball, beats the outside edge of Shea, but does it? Gets the outside edge. Wotherspoon, a brilliant diving catch to her right. Shade didn't play that one too badly. Got the front foot down the wicket. Went for what looked like a fairly routine drive, but got the edge, and Wotherspoon is highly rated as both a batter and keeper. She's a trailblazer for the Marlins at the age of 17. Someone who is a real key to victory for the Coastal Marlins. And with that wicket, the match is not sewn up, but they're definitely where they want to be to make it 3 wins from 3 starts. Holly Barr. So we have Wynnum Manly Redlands teammates batting for the Pirates at the moment. They are called the Bayside Pirates, so you'd expect a fair sprinkling of Wynnum Manly and Redlands players. They combine in the Catherine Raymond Shield first grade comp, and then play separately in the second grade Jodie Fields Shield. Jodie Fields, a keeper herself, would have been very pleased to have taken a catch as classily as Riley Wotherspoon did on that occasion. So Briggs has the breakthrough. Charlotte Briggs from the Sunshine Coast. And there is some very uneven bounce when you're batting at this end. We saw yesterday a few shoot through and then one rear up and cause an injury to the keeper. We will try to get a report on that for you later in the day. Briggs full of length has just slowed the pace. That'll be a single to long off. It's all very comfortable middle over batting and fielding. One criticism of the 50 over game is you do get 20 overs in the middle where the field is back and you just have batters hitting singles to the outfield for about 20 overs. Happens in T20 cricket as well, just not for as long. So the Pirates looking to revive their run chase. A wider delivery and so called. Hoping it's clearer for you through the camera. There are some cars parked along Ellison Road to the north of this ground, and the reflection of those, to me, makes the umpire look like an angel, really. Lofted, caught and bowled. It was a shorter delivery, maybe it held up in the pitch. Carlin played forward to a ball that maybe she should have gone back to, but it was one of those length deliveries that's designed to put indecision in the batter's mind. And Carlin unfortunately hit it not particularly powerfully, just over Charlotte Briggs. Both hands went up, and she's got her second wicket for the over. So Carlin departs. Michaela Montgomery, who kept very tidily earlier today, makes her way to the wicket as the opening combination of Lucy Hamilton and Charlotte Briggs has done the job for the Coastal Marlins. So Waverard and Magic playing this game. In the 11 o'clock slot, the Pirates will move to the field behind to play against the Southern Rockets. And the Marlins have a break until 2 o'clock when they play also on the field behind us, number 5, against the Western Power. The Western Power, incidentally, you will see on the next game here go up against the Darling Dingoes. Dingoes had a disappointing day yesterday. 2 losses, one of them conceding a bonus point. So they're actually on -1 points at the moment. The way it works here, 5 for a win, 3 for a tie, none for a loss. But if you win by a large enough margin, you get a 6 point, the opposition goes back 1. Down the leg side from Briggs, it was a full delivery, clearly going for the Yorker. And as you can tell, there is a bit of breeze about. And we're currently looking for a hammer to see if we can get these pegs into the ground to secure the marquee. So if you're in the Astley area and you happen to have a hammer on you, firstly, why? And secondly, can you bring it to field number 10, please? Briggs. To the left-hander, Montgomery squeezes onto the leg side. Didn't realise there was a run there, but her partner did. And that's very good running from Barr. It's Montgomery off the mark. Charlotte Briggs keeping it tight. Generally well controlled. Leg side wide earlier in this over. There was a left-hand, right-hand combination again. Just not getting the pace of that one, Holly Barr. It's probably too full to play a back foot cut. So the over ends. Marlins well on top. Charlotte Briggs is 3 overs in. And at this stage, a run chase of 155 looks a long way away. Yes, to get a bonus point, you need to score 1.25 times your opponent's run rate. So for a chasing team to get a bonus point, they need to reach the target by the end of the 16th over. And for a batting side, in this case, I've currently got 2 hands holding onto a marquee, so my maths isn't quite there. But with a total of 155, they're looking at about 121. That the Pirates need to score about 121 to make sure that they don't lose a point in the competition. Now, there will be some banging in a moment, and I apologise for that, but trust me, it's necessary. But hopefully it only lasts for a short time. And for those of you asking why we didn't do this when there was no audio, yeah, we didn't think of it at that time. Marlins rotating their fielders, which gives the luxury of Charlotte Briggs able to come off for a spell after a double wicket over. Spin now through Zoe Valencic. Played a key role with the bat, but also an accomplished right arm leg spinner. She'll be bowling to Montgomery. First delivery is short, doesn't bounce, and Valencic has the right to put that out of the memory almost immediately. And we think we have a secure marquee. Valencic just not getting her length at all, but has managed to only concede 1 wide so far. So welcome back, Jonathan Delwood. Jonathan.
Yeah, well, nice to be back. Nice to be back. Just been fixing the marquee with the number at the moment.
Yes, the Jonathan Mick combo. So 3 for 23, now 24 in the 7th over. It's been a very impressive start as Lucy Hamilton and Charlotte Briggs have turned the screws with the new ball. So we have the left-handed Michaela Montgomery, the right-handed Holly Barr at the crease.
A little typical in and out field for a spinner at this point in time in the innings.
I'm going to ask you about the field placings in a moment. Just squeezed behind point. Maybe for 2. If they run it hard, and they will. Well done, Holly Barr. Taking lessons from the Valencic and Kaiser's show earlier today. My observation, Jonathan, is that often everyone inside the circle will be on the circle, and a lot of captains here would benefit from having at least one fielder close in on the offside to at least make about a second guess the single. We'll get your thoughts after this delivery. Swatted, that's a catch. The ball was short. Barr thought she had a free hit and just spooned it to Nicola Bradford at mid-wicket. So the Pirates' innings in a bit of trouble at 4 for 26. And Valencic, despite not really hitting the spot yet, has 1 for 4.
Yeah, sort of half. I like to call that shot a bit of halfway shot there. He sort of just chipped it rather than extending the arms and really giving it a bit of a belt. There's an opportunity there, potentially putting it anywhere in the ground. But nice easy catch, and 4 for 24. And now sort of having a little mountain to climb now.
Yes, it's well, I suppose the first target there, it's about 121 or so.
I did hear you say that.
Yeah.
Probably that's the primary goal at the moment.
Jessica Bryant, the new batter, in the number 10 shirt.
I guess at this point of the innings, it's critical to just keep rotating the strike and keep moving the score.
Certainly how teams rebuilt yesterday. And that's slapped through cover and a 1 to the edge of the circle. Now for mine, even though that would have beaten any fielder at short cover, the batters would have had to first make sure it went past the infielder and then think about a run as it goes to the outer.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there, but you do, as mentioned, you do see a lot of captains wanting to just sit the fielders on the edge of the circle because they're more than happy to give that one. Whereas, I think you and I will get to that after this delivery. Nicely bowled and just batted away to a mid-wicket there, no run.
Ended up being well directed. So, a very successful over for Valencic, 1 for 5, as the score is 4 for 27 at the end of 7 overs. Mountain to climb for the Pirates. Marlins looking to make it a perfect start to the comp.
Yeah, getting back to that, it's an interesting one there. I think we're probably a little bit old school in our thoughts, not wanting to give too many singles away, but in this particular format, as mentioned, captains often are happy to give that single away. I would like to see one in, as you mentioned. I do agree with that.
There was a situation yesterday on this field where the captain, I think, of the Rockets, so a bowling change is Zita Varatrajan comes on from the northern end. So he's got a bit of pace about it from the Valleys club. The situation yesterday where the Rockets were in the field and singles would win it for the Kings. Varatrajan drops short. A bit of a lazy shot there from Bryant, so no run. Yeah, singles would win it and she still had the field back, and it wasn't until there were 2 runs required she said, okay, everyone in.
Funny you should say that. We'll get to this one. We'll get to that after this.
That ended up being a good shot from Bryant. I don't think she got all of it, but it's a single out to deep cover. Would have been 4 during a power play, but just a single now.
Yeah, on one of the grounds I was on yesterday, very similar sort of scenario there where I think it was about 10 off 6, 10 off 8 deliveries or something, and the field was back, and it took... It's a chicken and the egg. I think I've always been one to bring it up and create the pressure with 3 or 4 balls to go, and so be it if you lose.
Yeah. Dropping short, ended up being a bit of a mully rubber. Not a no ball for bouncing twice.
It may have hit a surface crack or even a larger meteor.
Yeah, a bit of a space field this one. Preparing a pitch is difficult. No, all building experience for the women here. Cut shot from Montgomery, beats the inner ring, and just the single to the sweeper.
The learning that these girls and young boys are getting out of this tournament is incredible. I mean, the psychology and the knowledge of playing a T20 is not something that's easily taught. These I've been so impressed over the last 24 hours.
I don't mind the length there from Varatrajan, but it was also a bit wide.
Yeah, getting back to what I was saying, just the knowledge of the in and out, when to do it, the education from the coaches in a very short period of time. They don't get much time with these girls and boys before the tournament starts, and that's something that not a lot of people know.
Bryant came forward, the ball, she almost played that with her stomach. I always feel the belly button's an underused part of batting arsenal.
Certainly use a little bit of protection.
So the 8th over's completed, 4 for 30. So the run rate at the moment's, just 3.5, 3.75.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Daniel. I think I worked a little bit with the under-12 Southern Rockets last weekend.
Yep.
And I do believe coaches only get 2 sessions.
Yeah, it's limited so that you don't get overzealous coaches from suddenly demanding 5 training seconds every week when you've got people doing schoolwork and all the rest of it. So, of course, add COVID to the mix, and suddenly you barely have any opportunity at all.
We've got a serious milkshake there, don't we?
That was your word for... you were going to go cocktail and then thought, no, I better keep it non-alcoholic. Melverniak. And I hadn't picked up on the fact that we have sisters playing against each other today. Number 9 for the Coastal Marlins is Mel Verniak, and number 7 for the Bayside Pirates is Sophie Verniak.
Been an interesting night's sleep there last night.
Yeah, they played club cricket together, so this would be a rare opportunity to beat up on each other. Possibly Montgomery played for the wide there and didn't get it.
It's important now with the weights applied of 4 wickets and not a lot of runs to keep rotating.
Yes.
Really important to get them in a position where there's a possibility.
Now, this will be an interesting call. Called leg by, and I think a very generous definition of playing a shot there. I would recommend that at least you act like you're swinging the bat at it.
Wasn't a shot played there.
So Montgomery gets off strike. Bryant lofts, picked the gap, 1 bounce for 4, just landed inside, was only 2 or 3 metres short of the boundary.
Just wonderful cricket shot. And every now and again for the next handful of overs, these type of risks have got to be taken.
She picked the overpitch ball, found the half volley, thought, yep, that's the one, bang.
Cleared the front leg, kicked her zone and kept it really simple. Hit the ball straight. And often when chasing runs or trying to increase the strike rate, just clearing that front leg and hitting the ball straight rather than across the line is often the easier way.
Verniak reverting to back of the length. Awkward pick up for Wotherspoon, but does well.
I'm a big fan of the cricketers hitting the ball straight, as you may have picked up in the last couple of minutes.
Can't agree more. Played behind squares, a bit on this, and the outfield is quick. It has held up, however, and they've only taken the 1. I was watching the fielder, so I'm not sure. In fact, you watching will have a better idea of how quickly the first run was run. At the end of the over, Marlins still very much on top, but at least the pirate ship has been steadied. I was trying to avoid things like that, but in I walked. 4 for 36 off 9 overs, and 6 runs off the 9th over.
It's just about rotating now. I think you can easily get a single ball here by just manipulating the ball around.
Short ball from Viratrajan, also wide. So 2 to the total. That'll be handy for the Pirates. And thank you very much, Jonathan, for you're required because you're a busy man. But I appreciate you giving your coaching perspective onto the commentary.
No, it's been absolutely fantastic. Hopefully I can sneak back in later on in the day.
It's a very sneakable position, this. Short delivery, pulled shot by Montgomery round the corner. Didn't quite connect, but good enough for 1.
Thanks, Daniel, for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure. You're doing a wonderful job.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure. I begged to get this position, so having fun doing it. Enjoy your day. I'll catch you later on.
Thank you.
The Bayside Pirates facing Viratrajan. Get it right. Down the leg side, Viratrajan. I'm not going to take the easy way out and just call her Zeta. Everyone deserves their own name. Have it said properly. She's bowling some good deliveries here and keeping runs quiet. Bowling to Jessica Bryant. Extravagant shot. Doesn't beat the cover at deep third. That's from Eve Malay, who had the gloves on yesterday. On the boundary now. Good left arm throw. Speaking of lefties, Montgomery on strike. Short delivery. Montgomery goes for a big shot. It may be caught. Just hits the hands. It ends up being a drop catch. Valencic running towards it. Couldn't get to it until it was around, let's say, shin height. Spilled it. So Montgomery has a life. And maybe just a little bit of luck that the Pirates need. Viratrajan continues. Foolish bowl. A good change of pace, slowed it up. Bryant was definitely through her shot before the ball arrived. Clever bowling from Zita Viratrajan. And the 5th wicket falls. The new batter will be Abby Curtis. She bowled quite well before. I was certainly delighted when she took the wicket of Riley Wotherspoon. And Viratrajan has persisted and got her reward. Jessica Bryant out for 8. 5 down, the Pirates. The chase is 155. 5 for 42. And remember, this is the top of the table clash. Marlins in first, looking for a perfect start. Curtis around the corner. There's a short find there in Nellie Pays. The misfield allows a single. Slick keeping from Wotherspoon. It's not the smoothest of outfields, this one. So Pays has had a couple of misfields, but then made up for it with a good throwing arm. Bowled some leg spinners yesterday. Hasn't been seen at the bowling crease so far today. Montgomery to resume as the bails are reset. Another good just back of a length delivery. When she hits that length, very difficult to get away. A wicket taking over for Zita Viratrajan. Marlins on top, Wotherspoon rigging the changes. The Pirates looking for a hero. Melanie Vernier to continue from the southern end. The clubhouse end, if you will. The road you can see in the background is Ellison Road here in Aspley. Full and wide, but not so wide that the umpire was bothered. She's tempting fate out there, but seems to be keeping a decent line, and Curtis probably needs to stop waiting for the wide and just have a go at it. Curtis at the Souths Club. Now, they don't play in the Catherine Raymond Shield, but their top side plays in the second grade Jody Field Shield. Same with Norths. Fuller delivery, well kept out, and they will get a single. It's played down to long on, fielded with relative ease by Rebecca. Yes,
Is there another pick? Yeah, she's back here.
Ready to continue. sure what happened there. I think it hit the foot, but no shot was played, and so went through to Wotherspoon. So Wotherspoon has some decisions to make about how she's going to play the rest of this innings. Obviously, she wants to win, but in the 11th over, with still 111 to get, is this where she starts sharing the bowling around, seeing what she has in her squad? Venick outside off stump. Her control's been good. There have been a lot of bowlers in this tournament so far who have been struggling a little bit when they've had to switch from right-handers to left-handers, but Venick's control, getting her line straight away to the left-hander, has been impressive. Straight delivery, it'll be a single to long on as Pays actually has a fair bit of ground to cover and probably didn't need to do any of it because it's fielded fairly comfortably by Kaisers. I currently have one of the best coaches in Queensland junior women's cricket holding the marquee for me. That is a complete waste of resources as far as I'm concerned. Now my thanks to Grant Lutz. He and Tony Dudgeon are definitely enjoying the perfect start to this competition. 2 wins already achieved and 1 you'd have to say pending. They're 3 from 3. Riley Wotherspoon bringing the changes. We do have a bowling change at the Ellison Road end. There will be spinners produced. Valencic finds her length. It already has a wicket this innings. Pull shot from Montgomery. We haven't seen enough of that this innings from the Pirates, but she's got 2 to the outfield. Scratch that, she's got 4 to the outfield. Montgomery saw the gap between the ringer fielders on the leg side. Got her timing just right. Well done, Michaela Montgomery. Thank you to Christy Turner for the encouragement to Abby Kernis, who is playing a role with the bat here. Floated up by Valencic, hit back to her by Montgomery. That's been a good all-round day for Abby Curtis. Shorter ball, pull shot again to a similar area, a little bit closer to the mid-wicket fielder. And that will be just the 1 run to the deep. Kernis on strike. And I can say that Kernis goes to my old high school, but I think her skill has more to do with being Abby Kernis than going to that particular high school. Floated up, Kernis got her feet to that very well, and she'll get a single down to wide mid-on. Bit of activity happening around me so that we can get Grant Lutz back to coaching rather than marquee holding. But no, thank you to the help for keeping the facilities attached to the ground. So Montgomery back on strike. They are starting to turn the strike over a lot more, these two, Kernis and Montgomery. Shorter delivery, whacked by Montgomery out towards mid-wicket. There was an attempt at a catch, but it cleared her. And 6 runs to Montgomery, who raises the bat, which I'm not going to criticise because when I finally, as a 25-year-old, hit my first 6, I did exactly the same thing. And no, I'm not telling you what year that was. Michaela Montgomery, well done. Superb pull shot to hit Zoe Valencic, a quality spinner, over deep square bovine for 6. Another short delivery, hits it to the same place. It won't be 6, but it beats the dive for 4. And Montgomery's innings is in full flow. And over to my right, there's a clubhouse. End of the over. She's done well. Change of keeper. This happened yesterday as well, as Eve Millay assumes the gloves. Riley Wotherspoon will come off for a break, a tactical chat. Lucy Hamilton also returning to the field. And with squads of 13, this is quite common in this competition where they will give fielders a break. Wotherspoon, of course, has batting duties as well, and with the game more or less in the bag, allowing Wotherspoon to recuperate for the next game is certainly a good idea. So Eve Malay with the gloves. And Vernier will continue from the clubhouse end. It's the Pirates waiting in the stand, giving good support to their batters. Plenty of love for Michaela Montgomery. Curtis unfortunately played right across that one. It was full and straight from Vernier, and Curtis played the wrong shot to that particular delivery, but she's done a job. Gave good support to Montgomery. The new batter will be Gabby McRae. With 6 down, and possibly there it was Curtis's job to turn over the strike rather than get excited by Montgomery's exploits at the other end. But she'll learn, which is pretty much the entire point of this week. As well as the under-19 women's competition, we have 4 boys junior competitions. The under-17s are taking place elsewhere. I think they might have been up the Sunshine Coast yesterday at the Buttering Grounds. But today, at Marchant Park, the under-12s, 13s and 15 boys competitions are playing. And given that you probably got here as into this video via the YouTube Brisbane Premier League channel, you'll find links to other games on the same channel. And of course, once the live stream finishes, the game is there for all eternity. So if you want to watch it next week, if you've got a boring work meeting, watch it then. Vernier, a bit shorter, beats the outside edge of McRae. Apologies again that we're not able to look down the wicket today. We just want to make sure the camera doesn't conk out with the battery. There's only so much extension cord on the planet. Wide ball. McRae moves forward, but maybe not across that delivery. Took a wicket yesterday, Gabby McRae, had trouble during her over and then absolutely nailed one and got a caught behind decision. It was excellent persistence. Full delivery, well played by Gabby McRae. Fielded by Vernier and her run up. Actually, she didn't field, it went through to Lucy Hamilton. Dust storm. I am more or less sitting in dust at the moment, so you will see the occasional dust storm go across as the camera blows about a little. In fact, we may just have to fix the angle. I'll do that in a moment. Turned round the corner, good batting from McRae. Gets one, ran it hard as well to create the opportunity for the second. And so Montgomery will be on strike for the first time this over. I apologise, I was a ball behind. So McRae keeps the strike for the following over. Just going to make a quick adjustment to the camera. Hopefully that's a little better, but if you think it's worse, you're welcome to say so. Thank you to Christy on the live chat, who's been giving plenty of support to Abby Curtis. I'm sure you get the chance to congratulate her yourself, but you can also let her know she got plenty of mentions on the live stream. More dust storm from McRae on strike. Tossed up leg spinner. I think it's Janelle Page. That's gone for 4. Well played by Gabby McRae. Met the sweep shot on the full. Unfortunately for Nellie Page, her first ball has gone the journey. So Pay's the 6th bowler used in this innings. Wotherspoon's off the ground. I'll try to find out who's taken over as captain with Wotherspoon off. The second spinner used after Valencia, who was a little bit loose today, but I've definitely seen her bowl very well in key matches. That looked like it turned. They're going to run a bye. It looked like it just turned past the off stump, and Malay wasn't quite able to get onto it. I'm told that Eve Malay has friends and family watching from New Zealand, so hello to all of you. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you're enjoying it. Hayes is tossing it up, hits Montgomery on the back leg. Height quite rightly meant there was no appeal, but Hayes bowling well to a left-hander, not always easy for right-arm leg spinners. Short whacked away by Montgomery, and it's beaten the field. There was a sweeper coming round from wide mid-on, but it was hit too well. Montgomery's innings is very, very important to the Pirates in this match. Hasn't been a lot of success with the bat. Wheeler went early, Hamilton got the key wicket. And after a steady start, Montgomery's on fire as she plays down to long on again. This should just be a single. But good acceleration through the innings. She was 4 from 10 balls at one point. She's now 26 from 24. So as she's played herself in, got more confident, been able to accelerate. 1 ball remaining for Pays. Well flighted, McRae into the offside, and again she'll get a single off the final ball. Looking for 2 though. I like the intent with which McRae is taking her first run. Always a coach's joy. So 6 for 74 with 6 overs remaining. The Pirates need 81 off 6 overs to win. That looks unlikely. If they can reach about 120, however, and that'll need 45 runs in 6 overs, so it's still 9 and over, which is a tricky ask. But that will mean they don't go backwards on the competition table. If the opposition is good enough to get a bonus point against you, you actually get -1. Wouldn't be disastrous for their finals hopes. There was a logjam of teams on 1 win yesterday. 6 of the 8 teams had 1 win and 1 loss. The Marlins, who you see now, were the only team with 2 wins, and the Dingoes in the Darling Downs Toowoomba area were the only ones with 2 losses. So still a very, very even comp. More changes. Mia Krewkamp comes on from the clubhouse end.
I think he's played it into his...
he's batting.
Quite quick Krewkamp. So that 3 times quickly. Charges in, plays for the Sangay Redcliffe's second team, the Jody Field Shield. Looks promising. Stuck inside the wide line, and I think in the 15th over, Montgomery can't really play for wides. Having said that, it's the first ball she faced from Krewkamp, so having a look at it probably wasn't the worst idea. Good bowling. I'm not going to criticise the shot either. Maybe just a little full from Krewkamp, but not by much. Montgomery threw everything at it, didn't connect on this occasion, but that is what she needs to do at this point of the innings. Yorker played very, very well by Montgomery, squeezing down to long leg. Just a single. So Krewkamp will get a crack at McRae. relief from the Marlins. Plenty of bowling options. They are rotating them well. Full delivery. An appeal went up from cover, which suggests to me that it probably wasn't out. So just the one run. Crew camp bowling with plenty of pace. Remember, the live chat is open to you. Say whatever you like, keep it respectful. Crew camp down the leg side, first stray delivery this over. That's an example. You get the single, suddenly you have to bowl to someone of the opposite hand. That highlights how controlled Vanier was earlier today, being able to adjust immediately. Craig, just went back to that one. Wasn't able to get any power on the shot, so a good over from Crew camp. The Marlins keep it tight enough to make sure they not only get the 5 points for the win, but the extra point for the bonus, and possibly push a major rival in the Bayside Pirates back one. For the Pirates, of course, it doesn't matter whether you finish first, second, third, or fourth. If you're in the finals, you just have to win 2 games. Objective number 1 is to qualify for Thursday. The Redlands bound, Peterborough Oval. Janelle Pays to continue from the Ellison Road end. Tossed up, and McRae loves to be able to free the arms and pull behind square. Again puts pressure on the field. Just the one run puts Montgomery back on strike. If Pays drops short. The gaps are in a slightly different place. There are 2 fielders out now in Montgomery's hitting zone, but there's a big gap a bit squarer. And that has been called wide outside the off stump. It died on the pitch as well, and so Montgomery judged that to perfection. Pays looking to find her line to the left-hander. Found it there, cracked Montgomery for room, and she played very cleverly. She's earned the right to have fielders deep on the leg side, so she pushed it for 1. The wind is very entertaining here, if nothing else.
That's not an entertaining stop.
Just had a teamless blow away as the... Just a single to McRae. I say just a single, she's rotating the strike well. Crew camp has to go outside the circle and inside the circle as the right-hander changes to left-hander. Both McRae and Montgomery have shown that they play to leg very well. Pays dropped short, nearly found the gap. Got a bit of spin on that one, Montgomery. She's able to take a single to backward square. But she saw where the fielders had moved to, knew that she had to hit to a different zone. Even though she only got 1, it does show that she's thinking out there, Michaela Montgomery, which is good to see. Hayes tosses it up. McRae only came half forward to that one. In the end, maybe could have gone back and cracked it through the farmland. Tossed to... Oh! Clever bowling from Pays. Got her length right. McRae didn't quite play the right shot. End of the over. 4 overs remaining. The Pirates 6 for 83. The win seems out of the question. 72 runs required off 4. But if they can get to 120, which would still need not quite 40 runs, they can at least avoid the bonus point. Tara Wheeler, the captain's run onto the field, having a chat to Montgomery and McRae, has possibly suggested that that's the wriggle-on they need to make. will confess I haven't calculated the exact total, but it's 80% of 154. Crew camp to continue. Shorter delivery has been called wide. Control was good last over, so we're looking for that again. The partnership between Montgomery and McRae has been excellent. They've certainly used up deliveries and stopped the rot. Yielded 22 runs so far. Montgomery up to 29. Tucked for room. Good delivery from crew camp. Good length. Was able to get it through Montgomery. The next game on this field will be the Darling Dingoes versus the Western Power. Dingoes looking to resurrect their campaign. The Power with one of each. Short delivery, yes, that is too wide. Montgomery was slightly theatrical in showing the umpire how wide it was, but all the umpire was looking at was how the ball was in relation to the line. Full from crew camp, not called wide. The umpires have actually been fairly good in this competition in that if the batter moves significantly to the offside, they judge the leg side wide on where the batter started, which is the sensible thing to do. A hook to leg, well fielded by Hamilton. Can't stop the single, but certainly stopped anything greater than that. We're unlikely to see Hamilton return. She'll save her energy for the Marlins' next game today. McRae gets a single to long off where it's fielded by Charlotte Lutz. As the Marlins have a break now, and then they play against the Western Power. Of course, the Western Power will be coming straight off a game on this field against the Darling Dingoes. The Battle of the West, which is an official thing. I'll explain more about that after this ball, but the Dingoes versus Power is the Battle of the West. Montgomery swats one down to long on. Just a single. Yes, 7 competitions. The seniors, under 19 men's, under 19 women's, and then the 4 junior boys competitions, 17, 15, 13 and 12. And over those 7 matches, whichever team out of the Dingoes and Power wins more head-to-head matches, we declare the victors in the Battle of the West. Crew camp, good cover drive, but because it's gone to Lucy Hamilton, and the batters decided, yeah, probably won't. That's coming up here. The Marlins, with a good size over rather, look to secure the bonus point. I currently have, it wasn't enough to have one elite coach holding the marquee before. I've now got 3, completely wasting resources. We try to work out whether to sacrifice the marquee to burn the commentator. Quite frankly, it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
He's doing a very good job.
Nelly pays. It's a full toss. We have had a batting change. I didn't see a wicket. I'm guessing it was a retirement.
That's correct.
So Alice Hayes is the new batter. She's only 11 years old. future. Apologies again, the camera is blowing around, trying to keep it steady. Swing and a miss against Nellie Page, who I think is only 14 herself. Page, it's in the air, and it's just going to clear Lucy Hamilton at mid-wicket. And she's off the mark. Dallas Hayes has her first run in the Brisbane Premier League. Hayes to McRae. A lofted square cut, but well into the gap. Just a single that's thrown back to Eve Malay. So we have confirmation that Michaela Montgomery, Lucy Montgomery rode down to Green Gables. She retired her innings. Bowled. Well tossed up from Nellie Page. Basically yorked Alice Hayes. And so the wicket is taken. 2 overs left. Alice Hayes departs for 1. I think it just came off the scorecard. She's out for 32. That, of course, definitely with retirement for Montgomery. I just wanted to acknowledge the contribution of the people around me. You will hear some chat. I'm trying to make sure that even if the audio goes a bit awry, that we can at least continue to bring you pictures. So that wherever you're watching from, be it New Zealand, Northern New South Wales, country Queensland, that you get to see the women you know and love in action. The Wave Riders and Magic coming up on this field at the conclusion of this game. The likely outcome here is that the Marlins have got their third win with bonus points. As Holly Thomas to bowl right arm leg spin from the clubhouse end. Shorter, quicker, but the field is set for it. Dot ball. Yeah. Holly Thomas down the leg side. McRae got a little bit tangled. In fact, it bounced off the keeper. So, just the wide ball.
Come off the middle of the back and just keep the back. So just put it up there. Yeah, right.
Thomas to McRae. Flicked down to long off. That was quite a lovely shot, actually. Fielded by Lutz. We'll keep it to the single. But McRae batted quite intelligently throughout this innings. Thomas bowling with control. Lara Hamilton is the new batter after dismissal of Hayes. Goes for a big shot through mid-wicket. Beats the catcher. Well fielded on the boundary, but she's off the mark, Lara Hamilton. Bowled towards the end of the first innings of this match, Lara Hamilton. She's been able to get a bit more involved in the Brisbane Premier League today. Thomas with a much quicker delivery. Pulled by McRae to the boundary riders. It'll just be the one. I am impressed with McRae's running between wickets today. She's done an excellent job to put pressure on the field. Always looking for the chance of turning 1 into 2. So Thomas to Hamilton. And nearly snuck one through the defences. One ball to go. Big swing, well kept by Malay. No chance of a run. And 1 over remains. This match, the Marlins have proven themselves to be the stronger team. 4 for 154. 45s scored by Riley Wotherspoon, and then also Rebecca Kiters played an absolutely superb knock in the final overs. Massive acceleration in the last 5-6 overs of the Marlins innings. They've been able to restrict the Pirates to 7 for 94. The majority of the runs scored by Michaela Montgomery. She retired, I think, for 31. Charlotte Lutz will bowl the final over from the Ellison Road end. The Marlins have a break before taking on the Power at 2 o'clock on one of the other fields. The Pirates go straight to a battle with the Rockets. Slower ball first up from Lutz, and it's down the leg side. I'm always convinced that starting with a variation is the way to go, but it can work. Lutz online, very online in fact, takes out the off stump. And that ends a very handy innings from Gabby McRae. Looking to accelerate and play a few big shots in the last over. It didn't quite work for her, but her innings of 12 gave a lot of stability to the Bayside Pirates innings. She can be very proud of that knock. So she departs. Hannah Schultz will make her way to the crease. But I hope McRae receives a warm reception from her teammates. She indeed does. Good support between the players. We think, remember, a lot of them play against each other during the season. Some of them have perhaps come from up country, have never met before. But making friends who could become teammates in future years. In one sense, it's a shame that it's the Brisbaneites who get the talent coming to us rather than us going up to the country, but I can assure you there's an enormous amount of respect for country players. More on that in a moment. And the single.
Whatever you do, just keep blaming Brownie. He loves it.
Went for the big shot, went for the stumping. Plenty of action at a dot ball. Lara Hamilton looking to just add a bit of pizzazz to the end of the innings.
Tanya? No, I was on that one.
Lofted, but into the gap. It goes between backward square leg and mid-wicket. Lucy Hamilton will field easily. But 1 to the score for Lara Hamilton. Brings Schultz on strike. So I think it's 2 deliveries remaining, with the first ball of this over being called wide. Lutz slows it down, defended. And then called through for a single. That was good work from Hamilton to call through. So Schultz is away. He's got 2. The last ball of the innings. Unless they score about 25 from this, it will be a bonus point victory to the Marlins. Lofted. It ends up being a dot ball. In fact, it's gone through for a bye. Good calling from Schultz to make sure that at least one's added to the total. They finished with 8 for 98, the Pirates. It was a superb all-round performance from the Coastal Marlins. They moved to 18 points on the table. The Pirates go back to 5. And if you go to BrisbanePremierLeague.com and or to the Brisbane Premier League app, you'll be able to find out the result from the match between the Wave Riders and the Magic to see how the points table has changed leading into this game. But the news here from Marchant Park number 10 is that the Coastal Marlins have defeated the Bayside Pirates by 56 runs. If I had to name player of the match, I'd definitely give it to Rebecca Kaisers for her innings. Some superb all-round bowling. There were 9 bowlers used. Hamilton and Briggs made the early inroads and then took a back seat. But the Marlins, the team to beat here at the Mazda Brisbane Premier League under-19 women's competition. We're going to take a bit of a break for about 15 minutes, and then we'll be back with the second game for today. On field number 10, the main field for the Warehouse Cricket Association here at Marchant Park, Aspley, for the Darling Dingoes against the Western Power. We'll join you then.
Well done. I'm John.
That's right, about the fourth time after 5 weeks a week.
If that picks up swearing, what happens if YouTube will shut the stream down? It ends up having a bit of a coming in. So that's what I'm saying.
I was just saying, we're not free. I don't know about you, but I'm not that invested in all this swearing. Unless it's, that's a different show.
I'm not against it. Yeah, and come what's swearing when the app crashes. The BPL app today.
Understood.
Second game of the day, the toss is done by mutual consent. Like if they've got the players backing up. Yes. If somebody's just finished bowling, they might have the other team back. We had scored a under-19 game, men's game, a couple of weeks ago, and the team that I was scoring for, they batted first in the first game, fielded, then went to the second game and fielded again. Luckily, I don't know how they won the second game. They must have been absolutely
Oh, I mean, once it's only 40 over, the intensity is such that it's probably more tiring.
Mr. Dingoes won the toss in our batting.
Thank you very much.
She's very confused when they won the toss. She goes, I don't know if you won the toss or not. I said, did you get to choose? She goes, yeah. I said, well, you won the toss.
Where are the
I have no idea.
Yes, Jody and Happy Days.
Oh, you were there, were you?
No,
That's fine. I thought, look, I made that comment and no one knows what I was talking about. So.
Youngins today.
That's right. She was the late edition yesterday instead of Isabel Hartog.
I attended the show who lost my medicine. She won a premiership in here this year.
Oh, right.
As in the first grade, she's on TV.
for listening to Alan Anderson, Lauren Anderson, Imogene Biswash, Haley Wheeler, Abby Harvey, Kieran Hart, of course, Olivia Winner, Eloise McKenzie, Caitlin Lutke, Anna Tucker, Aria Pell, and Lauren Clay.
Guys all good? No issues?
Yes, that's same as.
Exactly, yeah. So, not thinking you spent so much time thinking about the first time while you change it the second time.
Exactly, yes.
I was looking at that and I was thinking, oh, it's Japanese drinking up pretty well, but that's what Annie's name down there. Oops, no good.
Ash. She might be across the league this season. Ash runs her.
Sorry, no, we can take her. She was great last year.
She took more wickets last year than a record number of wickets in the season.
Yeah. First grade, 40 wickets. 40? I don't know.
See, the only one of your team that I know was Jamie Lee, because Graham is a stalwart. And out of my team, there's really only Lauren Anderson, but I know Abby Harvey's really well.
The only one I knew was Ash, because when Ash was 14, she played for Greg. When my son was playing, she was playing in Open 14. Oh, I knew her yesterday, but she looks completely different now than she did 3 or 4 years ago. Okay, so do you know the Opens already?
Yeah, they're both just the same, yes, that's what I'm assuming. It's Kaylee Wheeler
It's in a couple of hours' time.
They took the strike different times each.
Okay. Because I've had a look at it.
Well, it's not BPL, it's Quick Hero.
Yeah, Quick Hero.
Yeah.
I looked through all the Quick Hero tutorials, and I think it's great. It gives you so much stuff that you can gather, and I'm just wondering whether it's because it's got a lot of experience, it's Tuesday, so much experience, freezes up.
That could be possible. And which is what White Cricket was doing 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, it's right.
Because when I first sat down with you, you were talking about White Cricket. I hadn't used it by then. Because I scored just took away from the tournament game. I was watching you because you had an NX tablet and you had White Cricket on your phone. I thought, okay, you're on phone, it must be pretty well. Reasonably good. So I downloaded it, so I wanted to get it. So much
like it,
man.
And if you do it on the tablet, it's got the ball by ball down the side, so you can easily spot if you've made an error.
Yes.
That's what I want.
So on that error side of things, there's so many times I've seen an error and I'm like, damn, how the fuck do I fix that? And I was able to.
Oh, sorry.
Well, not necessarily on the run. Sometimes it wasn't on the run. I had to fix it up later on. But the beauty is once you've done it, if you made a mistake, you can fix up the computer.
I've got to give him credit. When it first came out, when I first started using it, I mean, he was cracking every other minute. And it was very clunky. And I remember the first time I started using it, it's about 6 or 7 years ago now. I was at the scoring for Albert in the Gold Coast comp, and they had the wagon wheel and the worm on the front screen. You don't need that as an after game thing or a change of innings things or something like that. It was on the front and it was just taking up all this room. And then the next time I scored with it, downloaded a couple of versions, it came up with this ball by ball down the side and a beautiful setup with a lunge per over and a rip up play. Duckworth Lewis is fantastic.
Yeah.
Really easy to use.
And they give both options there too.
Yeah,
The Duckworth Lewis and the Duckworth Lewis, whatever it's named.
Yeah, Alex. Duckworth Lewis,
Yeah, Stewart, yeah, that's it, yeah.
yeah, so it's really good. And so I don't, and because I don't use its wagon wheel, its wagon wheel is crap, but I use the wagon wheel. I use NX just because the wagon wheel.
Yeah. So the wagon wheel you think is crap, right? I've got opinions on it, I'll tell you that.
Because it doesn't, you have to score every run like it's a left, a right hand.
Yep.
And in my cricket, NX cricket, you can switch to left hand and automatically change it.
Yeah.
And that's good. Once you get, and plus, you know, it's only a dot. I'd rather see it scored through a line. And when you hit it, it's only a dot where you hit it. So you don't show the dot where the ball is hit.
When you export it, it shows a line. Now, yes, that is the problem. You can only do it on the app. You can't do it on computer too. And when you do it on the app, I'll show you. I'll turn it on.
Yeah.
You can actually go in the player and you bring it up, and there's a wagon wheel there for that player.
Yeah.
But how do you export it? I don't know. Other than through here, and then you
screenshotting.
well, not screenshotting. You can export it, but you've got to do it while you're still open. And to download it, you can't do it unless you've got to pay for the app. So you can export the scorecard, no drama at all.
So it's in the app. It's in the live score app. It's not you can't get it on the computer.
I haven't been able to find it.
So where is it?
So, you know, when you go and change bowl or change batter, click in there.
Oh, no, after you close the game.
No, I don't know. I haven't been able to find out after close the game. I might be able to do it in the scorecard section. So, you know, in the scorecard section, you might be able to do it there. On there. So, in the app, actually, in the app, you can go to the scorecard section. So, you'll be in the scorecard section. You go in and you three little dots. For example, if you want to edit this vessel or so and so, it has graphs in. Click on the graphs and brings it all up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see if we can do it. I've got a game that I did put a wagon wheel in.
Yep.
I'll just go to see if I can find.
Yeah. So if you still got it on your live score, you should be able to get through that way. But on the microgen app,
yeah, I've got a battery box charger in the car, so my car, so I'll just use that.
how'd you go this morning?
One again.
One again?
3 minutes.
Yes. One more and you guaranteed finals, I reckon. Yeah, I reckon. Yeah, but look at
The
that.
commentator was saying that if you win two, you guarantee finals. So you would be in the finals. Well, last night there was, of the teams, there was one that had won two, which must have been you.
Yeah.
And there was one that had lost two, which was Dingoes. And then everybody else had won one, lost one.
That's why I reckon 3 or 4 would definitely reach out there because if everyone wins one and lost one today, being a lot of people on 2, we can get you through. But there's another round tomorrow, so thank you.
So can you see? It's only got the game for this season.
I'll do this one. I will do the weight wheel on this one, and we'll have a walk.
Yeah, because I remember someone said that you could get it through the app. I never dawned on me that it could be through apps. Yeah, well, that's good. You obviously can't find the wagon wheels. But now it's the new season. The only apps that you can see, the only score card you see now after this season.
Yeah, unless you still got to be in your list. You've still got to be in your list. You've scored for it.
Yeah.
You get it, but somebody else will score for you. You know, in your list. And that's, I think, it's silly. You should be able to get it on the computer. So you can look at your weight wheel last year.
Yeah.
This year. over a whole season if you want.
See, I've got about,
So the 2 overs are the
I counted them last night. I've got 16 games and probably 10 or 20.
Yep. So the 2 overs are like you said, it's like and 9 is this one.
Welcome back to the Mazda Brisbane Premier League. We seem to be having a little bit of problem with the video stream in that we're still on the previous match's video, but we'll work on that. But this match, the Darling Dingoes in orange versus the Western Power in green. First time we've seen the Western Power on the live stream. My name's Daniel Viles and I'll try to make sense of the match for you. The dust storms blow across the screen. Kalia Wheeler taking strike from the Darling Dingoes. First ball from Macy Hauser is full. Hauser had a good day with the ball yesterday for the Power. 1 win and 1 loss yesterday for the Power, including one very, very narrow one. Dingoes beginning with 2 losses. They'll be looking to turn that around today. Hauser does not concede a wide early. Batters have been moving across to the offside. They have been judging the leg side wide, but where they started, not where they may have been. Full delivery, offside wide. There is a very, very big southwestern blowing today. It's quite cool actually, just taking a bit of the edge. Some very bright sunshine. If Hauser has an in-swinger, there's a plastic bag which I think began here, just blows through square leg. But if Hauser has an in-swinger, this will help. It's full, clip behind square. So Wheeler off the mark, calling Fisk Walsh through, just with a single. The Dingoes won the toss and elected to bat. Fielded first in the opening game yesterday, or their opening game rather. So Fisk Walsh on strike, number 22 for the Dingoes. Thought about the big shot and checked it. Intelligent from Fisk Walsh. Fisk Walsh currently playing second grade for Ipswich, the Jody Field Shield. And Hauser, the bowler, playing first grade for the Gold Coast. got some bat on it, finds the misfield, and that will race away for 4. Just went through the legs. In fact, it hasn't gone for 4, I apologise. Was right the first time. Second guessing is almost always wrong. So Fisk Walsh benefiting from this. It was a well-struck shot. I think we got the camera back in the right position now, but apologies for any footage that was missed. It's been a tricky old day. I can't measure the speed of the wind, but I think the word strong would be apt. So not a bad start from Macy Hauser. Obviously the misfield didn't help her figures. And she has been a good opening bowling option for the Power. Now, the Trailblazer concept has meant that each team can pick 4 players above the age of 19 to add a bit of steel and educational nous to each side. So the Western Power thought, why don't we get the leading wicket taker from women's first grade last season, Ashley Sims. Right arm off spin, plays for the powerful Wests club who won the T20 Catherine Raymond Shield last December. Kind of helps when you've got Grace Harris on your side scoring centuries in the semi and final, but even without that, they are a quality side. And the captain of that team, Annie Wickman, is currently a long on and also captain of the Western Power. You'll see her either opening the batting or at 3. But she can score quickly herself, but when you've got Grace Harris next to you, it always looks slow. Fisk Walsh facing Ashley Sims. This will be a test for her. Good movement of the feet by Fisk Walsh and takes the single to mid-wicket. It's fielded by Olivia Clark. So we're in the power play, 2 fielders out. They're both behind the wicket. It's the deep fine leg and the deep. In fact, they're both inside the circle. Let me reassess. The third is back and the long on. Good use of the feet again, beats the inner ring and goes out to the deep cover that I didn't see. I'm blaming the dust. It's not true, but it's convenient. It's a good start from Sims, keeping it full, but an equally good start from Fisk Walsh moving her feet. Good big backlift from Fisk Walsh. Equally good fielding at mid-off from Ashton. Turns around the corner, and because fine leg was on the edge of the circle, the single's fairly easy. Good fielding from Macy Hauser. No truth to the rumour that Macy Hauser's nickname is Doogie. That's false. Flick to leg. It's beaten square leg. So it's a deep cover and a deep square leg. The throw was a little bit wild, but just the one to Kalia Wheeler. Sims flatter. Fisk Walsh goes out to the top and it's got enough on it to beat the deep square leg fielder for 4. Sims dropping short for the first time in the over. Fisk Walsh knew exactly what had been served up to her and treated it exactly as it should have been. So a productive over, 8 runs from the second over for the Darling Dingoes. As they've made a good start, as I say, keen for a win after 2 losses yesterday.
Apparently that music's not working, so maybe just get
scorers to save an exit and go back in to see if it re-triggers it.
And that's what happened because it's still on the previous game at the moment. So I think we can be heard, but not on the right video.
So have we got
I thought that might be the case, and I didn't have time to check. Apologies.
still Macy?
If I can be heard, that is an excellent run out from mid-on. Told there were problems with the video, but there were no problems with the throwing. Kalia Wheeler departs.
She was run out.
And the excellent throw from Emma Jackson, number 10 at mid-on. Superb. Kira Holmes, the captain and keeper for the Darling Dingoes. She won't exactly be disappointed that she's in the action early. Likes to get involved in the game and take control as soon as she can. At the Valleys Club this year, made the move from Ipswich in the off-season. We have a flashing red light and a logo on the top left of the screen. I don't know what they mean. They may be innocent. But I just point them out. That's beautiful. How's it to continue? And the batter's cross, so Fisk Walsh is on strike. Just keeps it out. I need to check on the news, so bear with me. And we'll just interrupt the commentary to ensure we have the technical issues correct. That the coastal Marlins versus Bayside Pirates. Well, what you can do is you can hold that happens from here. So,
is it one in there? Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, okay.
I'm just going to see.
You could use that.
Yeah. So this match is still being shown on the previous match, and the stream of the squares didn't highlight the results.
So we have to look at that.
Okay, so for those who can hear, obviously the scorecard from the previous game is still on the screen and blocking your view. And we apologise for that. There are various things that need to